name's Chris Clark. You may or may not have heard of my story going around town. I've been approached at a few events, people that I've never met before, and they're like, "Hey, are you that guy?" That guy, all right. I'm a type 1 diabetic. I recently competed in Ultraman, Florida in February. I don't know if anybody here is familiar with an Ultraman event. It's a 3-day ultra endurance triathlon. Day 1 is a 10K swim, so a 6.2 mile swim, followed by a 90-mile bike. Day 2 is a 172 mile bike. Day 3, you run a double marathon, 52.4 miles. To date, I'm the only type 1 diabetic in the world that's ever done one. It's for a lot of ultra endurance events, it's a process. I mean, you look at the Boston Marathon, people will qualify for it, but then you pay your money, you go, you race. Hopefully you have the race of your life, nothing bad happens. A lot of ultra endurance races, you have to go through qualifying and selections. So not only will you have to qualify by doing a certain event, then you have to go through an application process and you're actually selected, as is the Ultraman event. So there are only 40 contestants per event. There are 5 events in the world right now. The World Championships are out in Hawaii. They're about a month and a half after the Ironman World Championships. And you've got one in Canada, one in Florida, one in Australia, and one in Brazil. It's a format that's becoming more and more popular just because right now people are starting to expand into ultra endurance athletics. You go from endurance athletics to ultra endurance athletics. People aren't satisfied with just running a marathon anymore. Now they want to run 100 milers, which to me is still like, wow. By the way, yes, I do want to do that. Nevertheless, still kind of boggles my mind. So as things expand and endurance keeps getting further and further, people are pushing their bodies to greater limits. I started with Vive right after my event. It has helped my recovery exponentially. And I say that because I've used certain other things for years and years and years. While I talked about base nutrition being important, I think it is extremely important. As a type 1 diabetic, nutrition is everything to me. Whether I go through highs or lows, things can get very, very bad. I was diagnosed just after college. I graduated, I was a swimmer through college. When I graduated, I moved up to Atlanta, got into real estate finance, was working the corporate grind, that type of thing. After about a year or so, I just started feeling sick. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm pushing myself a little too much. Going out too late with closing attorneys or real estate agents, working too hard, too early, too late, all that fun stuff. I lost a lot of weight. I was about 140 or 145 pounds when I was diagnosed. I got up one morning, it was a Monday morning, I went into my office, set up my laptop and everything, felt terrible. I felt terrible for a month or two. But I walked in there and I just knew I wasn't going to make it through the day. So I went home, called my uncle who worked at the hospital in Atlanta, left him a voicemail. He called me back a few hours later, said, "Chris, just go down to the ER, they're expecting you, they're waiting for you." So I drove myself down. I couldn't see the road because my vision was completely blurred. I had to stop, I don't remember how many times to use the restroom. But I walked in, told them who I was. They sat me down, immediately started finger pricks, and then ended up having to draw blood because none of their meters would read my blood sugar. When I was diagnosed, my blood sugar was 1,180.
Wow.
So yeah, if you're familiar with diabetes, or if you're familiar with glucose levels, a normal person's is right around the 90 range, give or take, 85, 95. as you'll see within athletes, their blood glucose levels will start increasing. Like Wally said, you start taking in all this sugar, even though you're exercising and you're burning it. When you take in that sugar, your blood sugar will go up. So it's not uncommon to have an athlete's blood sugar in the 130s or even 160s. Most people go into diabetic ketoacidosis and go into a coma or death somewhere around the 400 to 600 range, unless they've been dealing with it for a long time. So I was actually the highest blood glucose level of anybody diagnosed in that hospital. Over the next several years, my health took a real bad downward spiral. Got to the point where I spent 2 years of my life in bed. The latter part of 2008, all of 2009, and the first 7 months of 2010, I spent in bed. I would get up to use the restroom if I was in fact physically able to do so. I'd spend 2 or 3 days in front of my toilet dry heaving because I couldn't take water down. Take a sip of water, come right back up. So I caught wind of a couple type 1 diabetic athletes that were coming to the hospital to speak. Managed to make my way down there, listened to them give their presentation, waited for the Q&A session to be over, and then I approached them and they looked at me as if I was just a rag of a human being. I'm sure I looked and smelled terrible. That said, I'm still thinking I'm this collegiate athlete. I still have the memory and the brain function of, hey, what's possible? What can you do? Always trying to push something a little bit. They were very nice. You could tell they were hesitant with my questions because I really did. I wanted to push. I wanted to do what they were doing. We exchanged information. They kept in contact with me over the next year or so. I competed in a couple sprint triathlons and stuff like that. My first run was 2 days after I met with them. I went back home. I was exhausted. I passed out. I mean, I was dead for a day and a half. But when I got up, I put my shoes on, got my watch out. I was like, all right, I'm going to run around the block. I had no idea how long I was going to run for, how far. It didn't really matter. I was just going out to do something. So I started my watch and started walking. Got into a little jog. Looked down at my watch, and I watched it click from 46 to 47 seconds. And then I tripped and fell in my neighbor's yard. For the life of me, I could not get up. I couldn't. There was a rock there. I was trying to push myself up. I stumbled. I rolled. I about rolled out into the street. Make a long story short, I crawled home, passed out on my couch. 47 seconds. That was my start. But, little by little, I started learning about my nutrition and taking, advantage of the resources that were made to me. It was a very slow process, but Wally talks about base nutrition, base nutrition is paramount. You're helping your body recover to the day in, day out rigors. I mean, whether you're an athlete or not, you're putting your body through stress, work, kids, pets, you're putting your body through something just by being in this world. So allowing your body to recover from just a regular day is huge. Allowing your body to recover and fueling it properly for going out on your bike for 10 hours, really big. So the results that I've had with Vive since I started using it, again, I really can't stress this enough. Allowing your body to metabolize every single day, like he was saying, you don't have to do it twice a day. You can do it 4 times a day. I go through this stuff like it's water. You can ask me. But I love it. When I finished my Ultraman event, typically what happens after an event, you take a little break. You let your body recover. Typically put on a few pounds, which is okay. You don't want to put on an exorbitant amount of weight, but allowing your body to put on a little weight and recover is in fact a good thing. In using this, I thought I was going to gain a lot of weight after my Ultraman. I thought it was going to take at least 6 or 9 months for me to recover. I started using Vive. I gained a little weight, which I was very, very happy with. I was involved in an auto accident a couple months afterwards, which took me out of training. So again, I'm thinking, all right, I'm laid out, I'm tired, I'm not gonna be able to train, this is not a good thing. This helped my body recover and put me back into the game, which is my life, which is endurance athletics. Endurance athletics is what I live for. I wouldn't be living if it wasn't for endurance athletics. If you didn't listen to my story, I can repeat it, but I mean, endurance athletics is what makes me tick. Nutrition is what fuels your body, which allows you to then do whatever you're passionate about. I like to swim, bike, and run. It's just what provides me focus when nothing else does. So, whatever your passion is, and I'm guessing a lot of you are cyclists because you're here, or interested in triathlons, running, swimming, possibly some badminton or bocce ball or something like that. I mean, summertime's starting to end. I don't know if anybody's been on a bocce ball kick or not, but I have been, sorry. I'm now getting back into my base phase, or my base training. So all my stuff I've been doing has been shorter distance. We rode 252 miles. That was a short distance for me over 3 days. It was a good ride, but I was happy to do it alongside this guy. We had a lot of fun riding from here down to Charleston. But now it's time for me to start getting into longer distance stuff. There's a few races that I have that I'm looking towards. One is Enduroman Arch to Arch. It's you start at the Marble Arch in London. You run 84 miles from London to the coast in Dover. You then swim the English Channel, which at its shortest distance is 22 miles. And then you bike from the coast of France to the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. It's the longest triathlon in the world right now. Second largest race in the world. And I have my eye on the world record. The world record is currently at 61 hours, 21 minutes. I can break everything down for you, but again, I'll spare you all the nuances of it. But this is what's helping me get to where I want to go. I believe in it completely. I wouldn't be standing up here with a huge smile on my face if I didn't believe in it completely. If you have any specific questions, I'd be more than happy to answer, but for the sake of time and not trying to bore everybody to death, I'll leave it at that.
Any questions?